Hello and welcome to Terrific Tuesday. The week has finally arrived. We are now at lockdown 1 and we are able to do just a little bit more than what we have been able to do over the last couple of months. Please still take care. If you read the news or you watch TV, you will notice that any country that has gone through something similar to what we have has all gone into a second phase. So please don't relax as yet. I received a Facebook post from a doctor at one of the medical centers in Bedford View, and he was saying that over June, July and August they treated over 200 coronavirus patients, and then it went quiet for about 3 weeks, and in the last week they have received another 10 coronavirus patients. So it has not gone yet, it's still there. And with lockdown 1 coming into play, everybody is out there now trying to get done what they couldn't do before. So please still be careful, wear your mask, keep your distance, work from home where you can, and let's get through this together. In this edition, we're going to be listening to Arianna Huffington. She is an amazing lady. She's the co-founder of the Huffington Post and the founder of Thrive Global, as well as being the author of 15 books. And if you see her speak and you hear her speak and the wisdom that she brings, it is amazing, and all of that, and she's 70 years old. And if we could reach that age and look as good and speak as good as she does, it would extremely be wonderful. And why I've put this particular piece in is because the pandemic was a wake-up call for me. We all listen to all these talks about mindfulness and wellness and looking after our bodies and exercise and sleeping regularly, sleeping well, all these things, and we kind of scoff it and push it aside and think, it's not that important. But I can tell you now that if it wasn't for me practicing those kind of things over the last 6 months, I'm not so sure I'd be sitting here talking to you now. Being mindful is the most wonderful way to keep yourself focused and to bring yourself to yourself. Exercise is amazing. For the first time in my life, I walk 3 to 3.5 kilos every morning before I start work. And it's amazing the difference it has made in my life from a stress point of view, from an anxiety point of view, from being focused and to keep myself going. So when I saw this video with Arianna's talking about sleeping, I had to put this in today because it really brings home a note as well. Once again, great videos on YouTube. Please go and listen to them all. And I'd like to share with you 10 things that she says leads to success. And one is to embrace failure. It's important to failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. To bring joy into your life. To remember to have gratitude and to be happy and do things that make you happy in life. Take time out to find the joy in life. Do the right thing. Unplug and recharge. She talks about social media and how important it is. You don't have to give it up. All you need to do is know when to unplug and to recharge yourself, and then you can go back to it. But to sit on it 24 hours a day is a definite no-no. Dare to live the life. Dare to live your life. Do the things that you enjoy. Do the things you are passionate about. Because when you do the things you are passionate about, that is when you bring joy to your life. Practice death daily. And this was an interesting one. She's not saying practice dying daily. Practice as if you were going to die. We're all going to die. We know that. We don't want to be morbid and somber about it. But when we know that there is kind of that moment it's going to happen, the little things in life become so much more important. And we don't sweat on the small stuff. Don't hold grudges. And we all know that. Children very seldom hold grudges. They might sniffle here or there and then go on with their life, but they don't hold grudges, and we need to learn to do that as well. Of course, practice sleep. Practice sleeping is very important, and I'm going to leave her to tell you that on the video. Nurture your creativity. Find your creative side. Find the things that can make you happy. Be crazy. Do the things that is against the norm or not what everybody else would think is great. Do things differently. Nurture your creativity and redefine success. And I think this is the most important point that she has. What actually is success? And she talks about power and money, and she says you can have that power money, which is what she had before she had an event that made her look and redefine success. And you can hear that in the video as well. But it's not just about power and money. She says there's a stool, and the stool has got 3 legs. And one of those, 2 of those legs are your power and your money. But the 3rd leg is what actually holds it all together. And that leg is your well-being, wisdom, ability to wonder, and the power to give back. So very strong messages from somebody who is, not was, is still very much at the top, but who learned a lesson and learned to redefine success. So I hope you enjoy your video. And as I said, please, there is tons of material on the internet, on YouTube, that you can go and watch. Or if you want to, you can buy her books. The one is called Thrive, and the other is The Sleep Revolution. That's just 2 of her 15 books. In our Excel section, we're going to have a look at some more formulas from Excel that can help you in the office. Hopefully you're watching these and you're learning that Excel isn't just a spreadsheet, and that you can tweak it a little bit here and there, or you can tweak your data. Let's put it that way. You can tweak your data using functions and formulas. So until next week, please keep safe, keep your distance, wear your mask, and till then.
My big idea is a very, very small idea that can unlock billions of big ideas that are at the moment dormant inside us. And my little idea that will do that is sleep. This is a room of type A women. This is a room of sleep-deprived women. And I learned the hard way the value of sleep. 2.5 years ago, I fainted from exhaustion. I hit my head on my desk. I broke my cheekbone. I got 5 stitches on my right eye. And I began the journey of rediscovering the value of sleep. And in the course of that, I studied, I met with medical doctors, scientists, and I'm here to tell you that the way to a more productive, more inspired, more joyful life is getting enough sleep. And we women are going to lead the way in this new revolution, this new feminist issue. We are literally going to sleep our way to the top, literally. Because, unfortunately, for men, sleep deprivation has become a virility symbol. I was recently having dinner with a guy who bragged that he had only gotten 4 hours sleep the night before. And I felt like saying to him, but I didn't say it, I felt like saying, you know what? If you had gotten 5, this dinner would have been a lot more interesting. There is now a kind of sleep deprivation one-upmanship. Especially here in Washington, if you try to make a breakfast date and you say, how about 8 o'clock? They're likely to tell you, 8 o'clock is too late for me, but that's okay, you know, I can get a game of tennis in and do a few conference calls and meet you at 8. And they think that means that they are so incredibly busy and productive, but the truth is they're not. Because we at the moment have had brilliant leaders in business, in finance, in politics, making terrible decisions. So a high IQ does not mean that you're a good leader, because the essence of leadership is being able to see the iceberg before it hits the Titanic. And we've had far too many icebergs hitting our Titanics. In fact, I have a feeling that in Lehman Brothers was Lehman Brothers and Sisters. They might still be around. While all the brothers were busy, you know, just being hyper-connected 24/7, maybe a sister would have noticed the iceberg because she would have woken up from a 7.5 or 8 hour sleep. and have been able to see the big picture. So as we are facing all the multiple crises in our world at the moment, what is good for us on a personal level, what's going to bring more joy, gratitude, effectiveness in our lives, and be the best for our own careers, is also what is best for the world. So I urge you to shut your eyes and discover the great ideas that lie inside us, to shut your engines and discover the power of sleep. Thank you.
Most of you have heard of VLOOKUPs, but not sure what it does or how it works. And those of you who have used VLOOKUPs before will tell you just how powerful a VLOOKUP can be. Now, what a VLOOKUP does is it's a formula or a function that's saying to Excel, I want to give you a value. I want you to take that value. I want you to go to another table on another worksheet, in another workbook, or on the same worksheet. I want you to find that value, and then I want you to bring back the information corresponding to that I ask you for. So it has multiple uses. If you've got a huge database and you want to extract information, only certain information from it, you can write a VLOOKUP. I use VLOOKUP for doing my invoicing. I have a client sheet with all my clients' information, and I have a separate sheet with all my workshops. And I can put a code into my invoice, and the code will then do a VLOOKUP that will go pick up all the information of my clients and my workshop and do my invoice for me. And it takes a couple of seconds. So VLOOKUPs can be very powerful. If you have a look on the left-hand side here, I have a table with month, product numbers, sales, and a product name. On the right-hand side, I have a little table with two columns, a product number and a product name. Now, this table can be stored anywhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the same sheet. I've just got it on the same sheet for the purposes of the exercise. But what I would like to do is I would like to fill in the product name. So I've got the product number. I want Excel to automatically go and find the product name for me. And I can do this using a VLOOKUP. I can say equals, because I always start a function off in Excel with an equals, because that says to Excel, haha, there's a function happening. I'll type a V. When I type V, Excel will bring back all the functions starting with a V for me. I can see VLOOKUP, I can double click on it, and it will automatically start the function. You can see it's got the open bracket for me. The arguments that the function looks for is a lookup value, a table array, in other words, where's the information, and then column index number. What information must I bring back for you? If you're looking at your arguments and you see an argument in square brackets, that generally means it's optional. You don't have to put it in. It depends on how you are doing your formulas. So we're just going to use the first three arguments. A lookup value, which is 5. So I'm going to click on 5 because that is what I wanted. I want you to look for the product number. And I'm going to put in a comma. Now, please remember, on your machine, it might be a semicolon. Depending on how your keyboard is set up, you could either be asked for a comma or a semicolon. And you can find that out just by looking in the information it gives you underneath it. You can see if it's a comma or a semicolon. The next thing it asks me for is a table array. Where is the table that I can find the information? And I'm going to highlight my table 1 down to 6, my product number and my product name. And I'm going to say, there's my table, and I'm going to put in a comma. It then says to me, what is the column index number? Now, that is the column index number of the information that I must bring back. Now, in my case, I have got 2 columns. I've got a column that says product number, and I have a column that says product name. I wanted to bring back the product name. So the product name is in column number 2. So I'm going to say, I want you to bring back column number 2. I'm going to close my bracket because that ends off the formula, and I'm going to press enter. And Excel goes along, it goes to my table, it looks for 5, it finds 5, and it brings back column 2, which is pineapples. Now, when you're working on a load of information or a lot of data, something like this can save you huge amount of time because it will automatically do them for you. Just one thing to note. If I copy that formula down to the other cells, it's going to give me errors. Now, the reason it gives me errors is because when you copy your formulas down, Excel automatically thinks that everything must go down one line. And for example, if I click on pineapples and I call up my formula, you can see here that my C7 is blue, so I know that's my 5. My table is red and it's J7 to K12, which is correct, no problem. If I go to the second one and I click on my table, can you see it has moved it one row down? If I go to the next one, it will have moved it 2 rows down. I go to the next one, it's moved it 3 rows down. So Excel's automatically said, okay, fine, you're copying the formula down 1, so whatever is in that formula line must move down 1 line. So if you're doing a VLOOKUP and you have a table that it must refer to all the time, in other words, the table is static, it doesn't move, okay, you need to tell Excel that. So I'm going to double click on my pineapples again, my very first one, and I'm going to go to where I have my table array. And I click in between my column number and my row number, and I'm going to press function F4. Now what that does is, if you have a look, it's put a $sign before my J and a $sign before the 7. And what that is saying to Excel is that is an absolute cell reference. It's never ever going to change. It's always going to be J7. So I need to do the same with K12. I'm going to say function F4. And you can see there, it's put my $K and my $12. So now what it's done is, it's said to Excel, my table's never going to change. It's always going to be in those cells. And I can click enter. And now, if I copy it down to the rest of the cells, you'll see it will work like a dream and it will bring back the corresponding product name for the product number. There are many ways you can use VLOOKUPs if you just think about it. So the next time you need to pull information from somewhere, instead of opening up and searching, think, can I use a VLOOKUP? VLOOKUPs are extremely powerful function in Excel.